a new theme song this week. Woo!
To California with a little bit of Carolina. With a little bit of Caroline.
Hey y'all, welcome back to your Southern Lesbian. So fun, right? I love that little song. Y'all, we got a lot to talk about right now, so welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. I am Ashley, your Southern Lesbian and your host. Well, here I sit in Los Angeles now. Let's look at the palm trees. Is that not cute? It's adorable. I am so happy to be here, and I lived here for 24 years and worked in production and visual effects and editorial and all that biz, and it was just a huge part of my life. And coming back here has just been, oh my God, y'all, it's just filled up my heart in a way that I can't even describe. You know, I left here, I sold my house and sold everything in the pandemic because I lost my dad, and went back to South Carolina to be a little bit closer to family, and didn't realize how much I was going to miss this place. But what I realized is, man, I mean, come on, I already knew this. Y'all already know this. It takes a long time to build quality relationships. I know I talked to y'all about getting out and building community, and let me tell you something. The biggest key to that is being consistent, right? You got to consistently show up to these places. So if you're going to meetups and you're just meeting one person a week, and then you're consistently seeing that person, it's still going to take a long time till y'all have that closeness, right? So I'm finding that in London, starting to meet people, starting to build those relationships, which is fantastic. And I come back to Los Angeles and I instantly, it's just like, whew, I have so many people here where the relationships go 20 years deep. The difference is going out to these meetups and walking in and, you know, you're talking about not surfacey stuff, but you're sort of starting over with reintroducing yourself and telling them what the parts of your story that you want to tell them, and you're getting to know them on this very top level, you know, surfacey almost to start, right? And I drop in here and it's just like the conversation just can go straight into that deep dive of things that really matter, and there's just nothing like it. So I have come to realize after being here for a minute that I've got to come back here more often. It just, my heart just expanded while I was here. And y'all know I'm a little woo-woo, right? Y'all know I'm a little woo-woo. So some things happened this week that the synchronicities that occurred were just off the charts. I'll share a couple with y'all real quick because we got to move on to lesbianism. So first of all, when I lived here before, years ago, I had this big, fat, black, fluffy kitty. His name was MC, Maggie's cat. Maggie was the dog. I took Maggie to a pet store to pick out a kitty back in the day because I wanted her to have a friend. And she picked out this gorgeous little black kitten with bright green eyes. And I put a little red collar on him with a little red heart on him. He grew to be this gigantic tomcat, right? And he was very vocal. He meowed all the freaking time. So anyway, I come back here to my friend's house, and the first night that I'm here, we're talking, and somehow that cat came up from years ago. And my friend's like, you remember how vocal that cat was? And you remember how fat he was? And he was real cute. Long story short, here I am in this neighborhood, back in the neighborhood where I used to live, and the next morning, I go out for a walk in the neighborhood because I wanted to walk by my old house. I don't know why I do this to myself, y'all. It's just painful. So a couple doors down from the house where I lived, I'm walking and I'm listening to my podcast that I like to listen to, and out the corner of my eye, I see this black cat with a red collar come running towards me, a fat, black, fluffy cat, meowing at like full speed, running to me, and I'm like, what the? Y'all, the cat lays down at my feet and flips over on his back and keeps meowing. And I mean, I teared up. I was like, what is happening? We were just talking about him. See, I haven't brought him up in years. Yeah, so it got me. So I crouched down beside him and I said, oh yeah, you remind me of somebody. You do. So I sat and talked to him for a minute and petted him, and anyway. Okay, hang on. But that was a moment, y'all. And when moments like that happen, I have to stop and go, whoa, that is a big... Well, first of all, I do feel like it was MC or somebody coming back for a minute to say, hey, I'm so happy to see you back here. And the other thing I feel like it is a big synchronicity. What I understand synchronicities to be are little telltale signs that you're on the right path. If y'all are going to go woo-woo with me, and obviously I believe in this stuff, you can tell by how emotional I'm getting. Anyway, so that was a big one, y'all. It was a real big one. And then the next day, continual little signs, y'all. Just little things of like, some random thing would come up in conversation that you don't normally talk about. And then the next day, I'd see it again come up somehow. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's another one. That's another one. Then I'd go out to dinner with a friend that I haven't seen in a while who is very dear to me, and she's very woo-woo too, and we talk about this stuff, and it's super fun for me. As I'm pulling up to dinner with her, I'm a little early, right? I'm a very punctual lesbian, y'all. So I pull up a little early, and I'm opening Instagram, because what else do you do when you're sitting there a couple minutes early, right? So I'm looking at Instagram, and I see a friend of mine has posted a story, and I'm like, oh, I really want to look like that, but I don't really have time to do that right now, so I'm going to save it for later. But my friend uses her initials as her Instagram handle. I noticed the initials, and they're four letters, and I turn off the car, and I look up at where I parked, and right in front of me, y'all, is an attorney office that has those same initials with one letter transposed and attorneys at law. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? It was that fast. And when the synchronicities get that fast, I really have to pay attention. So to me, those are just like green lights, green lights, green lights. Have y'all ever read Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights? It's very interesting. Regardless of how you feel about him as an actor or whatever, it's a really good book. There's no real reason I went down this rabbit hole with y'all other than to just let you in a little bit as to me and how I live my life, how I use these things as like signposts to help guide me along in my life. Open doors, closed doors kind of thing. So that's going to tie into my main topic today in just a minute. But before we go there, let's get to the lesbians in the news this week, shall we? So the most exciting thing that I heard this week is Lilith Fair documentary coming back around. And I'm not sure if they're doing another tour, but I feel like they might have announced another tour too. I should have researched that before I came on. But the Lilith Fair documentary, y'all, let's talk about that. Sarah McLachlan, Bonnie Raitt, Sheryl Crow, Brandi Carlile, the Indigo Girls, at the very minimum, right? I mean, all those people have been confirmed, so that's going to be very exciting. The other cool news about that is that it's going to be directed by a gal named Ally Pankiw. She's a fabulous young lesbian director, y'all. She's doing great things. I had the great privilege of trying to work with her. Kept putting her up for jobs, and she was just lovely and so creative and so smart. But the clients, you know, they don't want to go with somebody young that they don't know. They don't want to. So I was very disappointed that I didn't get to work with her because she's fantastic. So she's been tapped to direct this film, and I'm so happy for her. And she has directed episodes of Schitt's Creek. She's directed episodes of The Great. She's got her own film out now, and she's big buddies with Dan Levy. So great comedy wit, and I would be so grateful still to work with her one day. But I wish her so much luck, and I hope that documentary is just off the charts successful. So all of us lesbians have to support this because it's one of our own directing this. The other big lesbianic story in the news today is that Bob Iger of, Disney, and his wife Willow Bay, who I don't know much about other than she's Annenberg, somehow related to Annenberg. Again, research. I don't do a lot of research. I just bring you the top line. You can research this if you want to, but those two have just bought in as majority shareholders of Angel City Football Club. Angel City Football Club, y'all, is here in Los Angeles, and it's huge for women's soccer here. So, it's a very cool thing. And one of the owners of the club is Natalie Portman. She was hugely instrumental in getting this off the ground with Abby Wambach. Woo, Abby Wambach. And Glennon Doyle. Glennon is actually a partner in it too, which I didn't realize until today, and I just freaking love them. Along with Mia Hamm and Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black. Anyway, lots and lots of people are involved in ownership of this sports club because obviously it's a big deal, but I hope this is going to be a really good thing for them. I got a little nervous when I saw this headline because I don't like it when anybody becomes a majority shareholder that's like a big corporate. I don't know. I like Bob Iger. I like the things he's done for Disney. I guess we'll see, but there's a lot of lesbians involved in this club who are trying to do good things with bringing women's soccer to the world. So I hope this is a good thing, and we wish them well. All right, so y'all know I hop on here when I can and when I feel like I'm inspired to talk to y'all about something. And I got that little feeling this morning very strongly. So I just want y'all to kind of understand that I don't have a real agenda with this podcast. I literally have just felt inspired to jump on here and talk about some things and share some things that have helped me navigate my life. Some of them are lesbianic, Some of them maybe not so much. Whatever. When the mood strikes, when the inspiration strikes to come on and talk to y'all, I'm going to jump on and talk to y'all, and I hope that's okay. And I really appreciate that y'all that are on this ride with me, and I think it's super fun. I think it's so fun to interact with y'all on TikTok too. I love it when you leave comments here below and we can all see what's happening. I love it when you comment on TikTok and ask questions and we get to sort of share more with one another, and it's so fun to see people interacting. Yay, lesbian community. So today I want to talk about when something disappointing, like really disappointing, happens in your life and how we can use that to benefit us. And the reason I bring this up is because I had something very disappointing happen this morning. I came back to Los Angeles for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons was that I had an appointment this morning with the Hungarian consulate. Right. So I found out that because my great-grandfather is Hungarian, that I may qualify for citizenship by descent. This was a year ago I found this out. I got very excited. Took a trip to Budapest. It was lovely. And then I went about getting together with other members of the family, collecting documents that would be necessary in order to prove my lineage, all culminating into this meeting this morning, right? This has been a lot of prep work, a lot of time. I've had to go to the DMV and order documents in various cities. I've had to order them from other states and wait on them to come. And I started learning Hungarian on Duolingo because I was told that I might have to know a little bit of Hungarian, and it's just been a lot of work. So cut to, I didn't get the answer that I wanted to hear because the year that my great-grandfather immigrated to the United States, I guess at that time he had to renounce his citizenship in order to leave. Those laws changed later where you could hold dual citizenship, but long story short, it ain't gonna work for me the way I thought it was going to. I still have a path to citizenship, but it basically means I need to go to Hungary, find the church where my great-grandfather or great-grandmother were born, like that little area, and research the church records because they were born in the 1800s. And there was no such thing as like these public records, so you got to see if the church has records. That I don't even know where to start, y'all. The other thing is they want you to be fluent in Hungarian. So basically, I qualify for naturalization, but not citizenship by descent, which would have been much easier. So your lesbian has to decide now if she wants to do all that work. And I'm going to have a think on that. I'm going to sit back for a minute. But I bring this up because if I had got this level of disappointing news a few years ago, I don't know, a couple of years ago even, before I had started paying attention to how these signs work from the universe, y'all, I would have been a puddle. I'd have cried in that office to the poor lady that was interviewing me. I stepped out of that and I just went, okay, all right, this isn't going to happen. And I fully thought that it was going to. But now, I kind of look at open doors and closed doors. It's kind of like levers on a pinball machine, right? It's like you're trying to go this way, but you're being batted back this way. So now you got to try this route, and then you're batted back this way. I don't look at it as a hard no. I think that if we allow ourselves to trust that the universe has our backs, right? Have y'all read that book by Gabby Bernstein? It's also really good. If we trust that the universe has our back, then what we don't want to do is match that negative energy with extreme disappointment, sadness, and hopelessness. There's the word I'm looking for. We do not want to meet it with hopelessness because, hang with me, y'all. If we do believe in the energy of alchemizing things, we stay hopeful and we go, okay, my emotions are going to stay here. I'm going to stay positive and I'm going to keep going because I know that there's something better in store for me. And I don't know what that looks like, but I'm open and I can't wait to find out what it is. How do I know this happens? Because it's happened a few times in my life before. It happens all the time in my life, to be honest, in very little ways. And the way that it shows up for you in your life are in those ways that you don't have resistance. Right? So I find that the stupid little things in life where I don't have to argue with myself, like, oh yeah, I'm sure I can find a parking space today in front at the grocery store. I'll get there and there will be a parking space in front of the grocery store because I don't have any resistance to that. There's no block going, why would you think you're special enough to have a parking spot in front at the grocery store, Ashley? It's the big things in life that we get all of our hopes worked up for. And then something will happen and instantly what goes through our heads, if we're not careful and if we don't practice, have an inner dialogue with ourselves to calm these things down, as our little monkey mind will go, well, Ashley, Why would you think that you would get through this process so easily when so many other people have to work so hard at it? Why would you think for a minute, well, I don't know, I just think this is the way the universe does things, and I think there might be a different path that's going to be easier for me, so I'm going to remain open to it. We can't allow ourselves to travel down that path if we're not careful, right? So it's something I still have to work at. I'm trying my best to stay positive about these things. A couple of quick examples, though, I'm going to give you all in the past. So y'all remember in I bought a house in 2006 here in Los Angeles, and it was fantastic. I was so excited, right? But at the time, I was working in real estate. The whole reason I wanted to get into real estate was so that I could learn how to buy a house for myself, buy properties for myself. I thought I was going to be, the real estate mogul. It was so fun. Lo and behold, here comes the contrast, right? Around 2007, 2008, the real estate market just went, you're lesbian here, no longer had an income for a year. And I was freaking terrified, y'all, as so many people were in the country. We hit that housing market crash and the big banks that, too big to fail, all that stuff. I had to lease my house out to college students. It broke my heart. They broke things, damaged things. They fought all the time. The police were constantly called. The neighbors were always calling me about them. It was awful. It broke my heart. And I had to move in to someone's guest room. It just felt like a giant step backwards for me. What that contrast did was push me to figure out another path besides real estate to get an income, right? Years before, I had worked in post-production, and I had left it because I was just burnt out. The companies I worked for were just churning. They were super successful, but my God, did they burn us out. The idea of going back to that I cried when I thought about it. But lo and behold, I put the word out. Someone was kind enough to interview me and hire me. I got back into producing, and I hated it. Just as I thought I would, I hated it. But within only a few short months of being there, I went to a party that was hosted by this company, and I met a man who was starting his own visual effects company and wanted to hire me for all my experience and offered to promote me to executive producer. Benefits that come with that, and I could do sales travel and all that stuff. And that was a whole new world for me, and that sounded exciting. So I took that job and I gave it everything I had, and it grew into being one of my favorite positions I've ever had. I made great money. I traveled the world with that job. I went to Cannes every year. It was just, the friends I made during that time were just unreal. That was just an example of sometimes these things happen to us and we can't see what that next path is going to be for us. I thought I was done with this industry. And, here I still sit writing scripts, pitching things, putting together shows, and it's super fun for me. And podcasting. So that was one example. Another example was when I was still in high school, and I just knew, y'all, from the time I was 14 years old, I knew I had to get out of my small southern town. Not that there's anything against them. For me personally, I just had these dreams of all this stuff that I wanted to do and all these people I wanted to meet, and I knew that it wasn't going to happen in a small town for the things that I love. Anyway, y'all, I was in Aiken, South Carolina. In the 80s, there was no internet. There was no way for me to research and figure out what schools did this type of stuff. I just thought, I'm never getting out of here. This is so hopeless. Lo and behold, my grandparents had a 50th wedding anniversary party. I was 18 years old, and I meet a cousin in my own family who I had never met before, who was a music producer in the industry, very successful. And of course, so we started talking, and that woman changed the course of my life. She helped me. She helped me find a college that I could get into where I could study. She opened doors for me to talk to people to try to find internship, and it was just amazing. So those are two examples, I feel like, of the universe doing for me what I couldn't really do for myself, what I couldn't see for myself. So what I've learned is when these things happen, when I all of a sudden become a little disillusioned, it's important, I think, to stop myself faster from going down that negative rabbit hole, because I have found, if I don't know what to do, just stay the course. Just keep going, because something always reveals itself, y'all. Something always comes in, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit. I didn't realize that was an opportunity. You know what I mean? Another example. I've been wanting a visa to the UK. I thought I needed one. Turns out I don't think I need one right now. That's another story. I'd love to have one. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but since I've been here in Los Angeles this week, there have been 2 opportunities that have popped up for me to have a visa. So now I'm realizing, I see what you did there. Now I realize and I recognize the power that I have of just putting this out, these strong desires, and that I have a choice in the matter, and that I don't have to take the low-hanging fruit. I can actually choose which option is best for me. I don't have to panic and enter a relationship or a working relationship with someone that doesn't feel right. The more that I just trust that the universe does have my back and wants me to be happy, I 1000% believe that our desires exist in us for a reason. I do. I've always felt this very strongly. I've always been, since I was a kid, very passionate about following my heart and not ever doing anything, especially as a vocation, that I didn't feel passionate about. It's just, y'all, I would wilt on a vine. I always follow my passions and it's never led me wrong. Never, ever, ever. So here your lesbian sits again. I've got scripts submitted at different initiatives. I've got real estate opportunities that I want to have happen. I don't know if they're gonna, but I'm just gonna keep following those little breadcrumbs, because I know that something's gonna happen. I just know it. And this is the difference in where I used to be, where I would hope that something was gonna happen, versus now I know that something's gonna happen. And I just wanted to share this with y'all because I just think it's so darn important, y'all. I think it's so important to hang on to that passion, that knowing, that trust in yourself, and that your own internal guidance system is not leading you astray. You can trust your own gut, especially with the climate of the world right now and all the unsettling news that we get every day in the United States and what that can mean for trans rights, especially gay rights. Some of the stuff that's coming out is just unconscionable. It's like, what? Don't let that stuff distract y'all. Don't give that stuff your attention. Stay the course. Keep the faith for yourself. Let the universe open those doors for you, even if you can't see them for yourself. I just wanted to give y'all a little encouragement and tell you to keep faith, because your lesbian is doing the same. I am here for y'all as best I can be remotely. I know I'm just some random lady on the internet, but I do wish y'all the best, and we're on this journey together. I just don't want you to feel like you're alone in this, because there's a lot of people in this boat right now. So many of my friends here in this entertainment industry, and there's so many people just in upheaval right now. Our business, this industry is just in chaos as well. And y'all know, streaming was a big disruptor, and now AI is a big disruptor, not just in this industry, in a lot of industries. And I think it's important for us not to fear those things, but to lean into them. Learn about them. Learn how you can integrate this stuff into your vocation, your life, because that fearful energy is pushing against. And we know that, I know that now, the universe doesn't understand. No, if you're feeling strong about something, it only understands the energy and it's going to give you more of it. So I think it's important to go, okay, not a big deal. I'm going to learn what I can about that and stay my course. Now I know I went a little deep on y'all today, so I guess I'll find out who my fellow woo-woos are with me. Just sending y'all so much love and encouragement, and I really appreciate y'all, and I hope this resonated with you. If so, give me a little like and a follow, and maybe share it with your friends. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.